All right, so now we're going to work with kinetic energy, but we're going to solve for an unknown. Same formula we did before. So kinetic energy is equal to 1/2 mass times velocity squared. Remember, mass is in kilograms. I'll put that back up there. Kilograms. And velocity is in meters per second. So the first one we're going to do is we're given the amount of joules. So number one, my kinetic energy is equal to 96 joules. My mass, I don't know. So that's my unknown. But my velocity is 4 meters per second. So just like we've done before, we're just going to isolate for what we know. So I'm going to set the problem up like this. I got 96 joules is equal to 1/2 mass. Remember, I don't know mass. So that's my x. Times 4 squared. So I'm going to solve and just keep on moving down the line. So I got 96 joules is equal to 1/2 x times 16, just like so. Now, 0.5 times 16, so I'm going to do that. So I got 8. So I got x times 8, still equal to 96 joules. And now I'm just going to divide. I'm going to take my 96 divided by 8, and I have to look at my paper because I can't do math sometimes off the top of my head. So divide that by 8, divide that by 8, and x will come out to 12 kilograms. Now, if I want to double check my work, I just stick that back into the equation. So I could do that and go 0.5 times 12 times 4 squared, and I would end up with 96 joules. So that's a good way of double checking your work, okay? All right, so next one, let me get rid of this board so we have a little bit more room, and I'm trying to write as large as I can for you guys. The glare in the classroom doesn't help. So let me know in the comments or a private message if you guys can hear me, if you can see this, if things get cut off the board, if I talk too fast, if I talk too slow, which doesn't usually happen, things like that. Okay, so next, we need to solve for velocity. So we knew mass for the last problem, but now we need to know how fast an object's going. So I've got my kinetic energy, and it is 1,125 joules. My mass is equal to 250 kilograms. But my velocity is my unknown. Now, out of the problems in solving for these, mass tends to be the easier one to solve for a lot of students, while velocity can be a little tricky just because this whole square rooting thing. So I'm going to show you how I do this and break this down, and hopefully it will help you guys immensely. So I've got 1125 my joules is equal to 1/2 my mass times x squared. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take 0.5 times 250, so I'm going to end up with 125. So I'll have 125 times x squared is still equal to 1125 joules. I'm going to divide by 125. I'm going to divide by 125. Now if I take 1125 divided by 125, this should equal to 125. Oops, sorry. 1125 divided by 125 would equal to 9, right? Yep. So 9 is equal to x squared. So this is what I'm left with. Just to double check as I do this, because I wrote down these notes, I'm going to double check my work because it doesn't ever hurt to do that. You never want to give people the wrong answer. Nope, it is 9. So 9 is equal to x squared. Now I got to get rid of this whole pesky x squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to square root it. If I square root this and I square root this side, the square root of 9, x will be 3. And since I'm talking about velocity, this would be 3 meters per second. So that's how I solve for the unknown for velocity, given the mass and given the kinetic energy. And if I plug this problem back together and I took 250, 1/2 of 250 times 3 squared, I would end up with 1125 joules. So the next problem is an unknown, or I'm going to make a known and then solve for an unknown using my daughter again. Oh, there's my rag right in front of me. So let's see. I know I keep saying so a lot as well. So I'm going to put me up there. Now I'm going to be riding a skateboard. If you guys have seen me, I ride my longboards quite a lot. I like riding around. So I'm going to put my mass in here as before. So I got 111.36 kilograms. And my velocity, I'm going to be moving at 4 meters per second. So nothing super fast, but a pretty quick speed. And I want to know my kinetic energy. So I don't know that. So I'm going to set up the problem like I've done before for this type of straightforward one. So I'm going 0.5 times 111.36 times 4 squared. So if I put my calculator just like this, my answer will come out to 890.88 joules. So that's how much kinetic energy I would have if my mass at 111.36 kilograms is moving at 4 meters per second. But let's bring Lily back into this because she's got her own longboard and she's learning and she likes to go fast. So let's say I put her mass in at 20.45 kilograms. And she's gonna have the same amount of kinetic energy as me. So she wants to be able to have that same overall output. So she's gonna have 890.88 joules, but we don't know her velocity. So how fast does my daughter have to be going to have the same amount of kinetic energy as me? So I'm gonna put the problem up like this. So 0.5 times 20.45 times x squared is equal to, again, the same amount, 890.88 joules. Now remember, or something I should say to you guys, it doesn't matter which side you put the equals on when you're solving for it, just as long as you're solving in the correct order. So sometimes I'll flip things around depending on how my brain sees things. So I'm going to take 0.5, multiply it by 20.45, and I'll end up with 10.225 times x squared is still equal to 890.88 joules. So again, I'm going to divide, so I'm going to isolate that x squared, so divide by 10.225, divide by 10.2, and now x squared is going to equal 86.87. Now I'm still solving for x. I've got the x squared thing, so I'm going to square root. And if I take the square root of 86.87, x will equal 9.32 meters per second. So for my daughter to have the same amount of kinetic energy as me, she basically has to almost double her velocity. I was traveling at 4 meters per second. She'll have to travel at 9.32 meters per second. So again, you get the same amount of kinetic energy, but you're gonna have to change the amount of mass or the amount of velocity in the situation. So I hope these problems help. I'll put up some practice ones as well that you guys can use as a guided worksheet. And I'll also put this worksheet up online as well to help you guys out. Hope you're all doing well. Please reach out for help and I'll connect with you guys all soon. Thanks, peace.